Welcome back, everybody, to the NLC. We have our fourth game of the night coming your way, Riddle versus Resolve. All the R's. Obviously, Riddle in a good spot right now in Group B. They are just on the outside of that top three in that particular group, and with this win today could potentially put more pressure onto getting into a qualification spot for the playoffs. Resolve, however, they need a miracle really at this point. They've had a really rough time of it over in Group A. They've been struggling to get wins on the board, haven't really found what's worked for them, and obviously have also made a change. They've brought in a new support in favor of over Fastlegged, which has of course changed the way that they are attempting to play the game too. I think you spoke about it yesterday. Bringing FGG in was you felt was an interesting move, but maybe would help to the roster a little bit. Doesn't quite feel like they've managed to hit their stride just yet.
Yeah, no, I think for Resolve, it's going to take, like you say, a miracle for them to make it to playoffs. Now, I think we might start to sort of talk about Resolve as the avoiding relegations kind of angle. I think their only hope is if SNG lose their game to Kova, which is the match after this. But in general, really big match for both of these teams here, because Riddle have the opportunity to tie up the standings with Galaxy Racer, because Galaxy Racer dropped their game earlier. So this is now actually a pretty high stakes game for both teams. Resolve trying to keep their head above water. Dusty picked up a win yesterday too. So making sure they can keep ahead of Dusty, and also, slight sliver of hope when it comes to the playoffs, and Riddle keeping it competitive is the name of the game here.
Oh, wow. And I think we praise the MC's Nidalee, but it's not just his Nidalee, it's his Rumble, it's his Diana, it's anything that can play aggressive early game, since Riddle banned the Zinzao on their side. And I wonder what they're going to choose to pivot on, because Volibear is still up and available if they want to play more for the early game fights.
Yeah, but I mean, Volley doesn't strike me as an MC champion. MC, to me, is traditionally very much a sort of farm, like power farm, play for myself, and then bleed my pressure eventually into lanes that I can kind of player. And with that in mind, seems to be Gwen. We'll have to see exactly where it lands. I think when the jungle pool is pinched this heavily, Resolve clearly saying, we only care about one guy here. We're probably going to see MC on Gwen, I think, would be my best bet, but we'll have to wait and see until, the draft's fully rolled in. I think Calum, whilst Resolve haven't had like the best performances whenever he's had his hands on Lee Sin, has looked pretty good, and Soph is also, the resident Lee Sin player whenever it is an option, so we'll have to see how Resolve want to round out their first phase of it here.
That Lee Sin gives them the flexibility, as you said, and obviously Soph does have that option to play it. Not every jungler does, but the Karma gets locked in. Very high priority in the NLC today, and Karma will get picked on blue side first rotation, so red side first rotation here for Resolve. Let's see how a Riddle respond. They have obviously picked up the Gwen, relatively high power pick. Wonder if they're just looking to keep things open here for their first open draft. Like, again, try and keep some flexibility out there. We have like the Renekton that is open. It's a relatively solid pickup into like heavy shields. The Viego is there though. Viego does get locked in. So we'll see where they choose to go with the rest of this.
Yeah, if you want to pick like something like a Viego and a Gwen, you put them both in like solo lanes, and then you can swap them between mid and top. I think that's the best. I'm not personally the biggest fan of jungle Viego or jungle Gwen. I do like them in solo lanes into good matchups, because I think they can snowball and get to their item power spikes much faster. But oh my god, Riddle have like a powered trio right there on the top side of the map that could be absolutely devastating to play against. I'm starting to think that this Viego is going to end up in the jungle, putting that set in the mid lane that probably went top, but Riddle's top side looks extremely freaking scary.
Yeah, when it comes to skirmishing, it doesn't get much more horrifying than those three champions. So Resolve a lot on their plate to have to deal with on the top side. And I like the Ezreal as sort of a response to, okay, we want to try and keep range. We've got three champions which are relatively immobile. So keeping the range, all the high mobility, so Achu's going to have that in his hands, and you've got the Karma there. So if that ends up as the bot lane matchup, you should, in most worlds, probably get priority. And with those picks in mind, Resolve, if they want to throw them down to the bottom side, we could see like two hard engaged supports removed away and Nautilus spells. The first half of that, something like Leona could be good. Thresh is still on the table, and when you've got these immobile champions, a champion like Thresh can facilitate them super hard as well.
Yeah, against PlayStation as well. Yeah, might be a good idea to get a Thresh out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, like you said, Leona Nautilus is the classic 1-2 ban if you're looking for engaged supports to take off the field. Wukong comes through. You saw how powerful Wukong was in a front-to-back style, kind of peeling style comp. in the previous game, but it will be Thresh versus PlayStation taking off the board. That does leave something like Leona up, though, if you do want it. I'm not sure how well Leona fits the Resolve comp in this particular circumstance, so whether they pick it or not, that, you know, that might not be the best play.
Honestly, if I was Riddle, I would also be looking for something like a Braum. I think that'd be very strong when you have all these auto-attack users in your team, plus an ADC that I'm assuming Gooby's gonna play, because you never know what Gooby's gonna play. He plays pretty much every champion there is in the game. It could potentially be really good against the Ezreal. If the Jace gets locked in here, it gets even better. And then with all these auto-attack champions, you can start proccing passives right, left, and center from the Braum when you get into the fight.
Dude, the conditions are here for a Vayne lock. And Gooby does play it. I'm just going to throw it out there. It's an Ezreal lane. It's safe scaling. You've got a pretty strong front line on the top side. You can join in on the dives. I could imagine a Vayne being locked in. I mean, there's loads of options too, right? You've got all of the other traditional divers like Kai'Sa and what have you. Varus can also help out with some of that. Sivir, again, facilitates everybody, right? You've got 3 melee champions on the top side. Make them run faster. Nothing. You can't get much happier than that as a melee champion. If you're here for Riddle, and scales wonderfully into Ezreal. Ezreal can't pressure the Sivir in the early game, and you basically just end up giving her free mana a lot of the time. And Rakan, honestly, not a terrible choice if you wanted to try and help aid some of the engage options for Riddle. And I look over to Resolve and I say, okay, you don't have a whole bunch of disengage. You've got poke, great. You've got a Lee Sin kick, that's about it. You run faster with Karma, but there is so much forward movement here from Riddle that I don't know if Resolve actually have all of the tools at hand to deal with what Riddle can deal with when it comes to the pressure of that.
So the final pick, I mean, there are options. I mean, I haven't seen a Janna or a Nico in a very long time, so I'm not massively expecting. I mean, it's a pretty good. It is a pretty good Anivia game, actually.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn good Anivia game. He's going to be playing into melee. A lot of these champions don't have dashes to get over the Anivia wall, and they want to be moving forward into you. And a lot of these play patterns from Riddle are going to be pretty predictable. The only one that's going to be a little bit out there is PlayStation, but as long as they keep a track of him when it comes to vision, this Anivia pick should honestly thrive. And soft on his Lee Sin too. There's a lot of like characteristic or on character picks here for the Resolve side. So truly on comfort for them. So they're just trying to say, we want to play our game. We're not trying to do anything fancy. Let's just see how it goes. This is the kind of read I'm getting from Resolve right here. And when I look towards Riddle, MC, fast farmer on the Gwen, loads of skirmishing on the top side. Explosive team fight seems to be the MO for them.
Honestly, I find that if Riddle gets behind here, it's going to be really hard for them to actually get into the game, get into the team fights. The wall, the slow, make sure that the shock blast is going to hit. The Qs from Ezreal are going to hit. The poke from Karma is going to hit. So I think the Anivia is going to be so pivotal at this point. If she stays alive, if she gets well out of landing phase, I do really think that Riddle are going to have a trouble dealing with it.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it was the same sort of methodology that went through the last draft when we saw Chimera run with the Anivia. He thinks he sort of assesses the conditions for a Anivia pick. If he likes them, he locks it, and that's what we've got exactly here. Tell you someone else who really likes Anivia picks. It's Jake. Is this going to be a roast egg game, Jake?
I can't wait for you to retire. I actually can't wait for you to retire. It's Chimera special though on the Anivia. Was it his poached eggs he put up, which was questionable? I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
I think it was.
It was. But outside of him making bad eggs, genuinely, actually, he made his debut when he joined the UK scene on this Anivia, and it's a pick we always know he likes. It's his signature champion. So they kind of hit it on the desk. A lot of comfort has been picked up here for the side of Resolve.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of comfort picks, and I think that comp has a win condition and how it wants to function. But my concern is that if they fall behind, it's very easy for Riddle to put them in uncomfortable positions. I can talk about that more later, but really, let's hone in a little bit on this. So both teams going for a cheese, and actually what you see is because both Gwen, Achu, they didn't expect him from that angle.
He gets pulled in for the face breaker, goes for the flash. The flash came out from slow Q, but there's a flank coming in. I don't think we're going to see a level 1 tower dive, or are we? Knock up into first blood for MC. He's going down to the tower shot though. Bye-bye, but it's an execute. We take those.
Yeah, I mean, you're not bothered about dying. Honestly, I actually think dying there is better because you get back on the map quicker. Like, that was the correct... If he survived, he'd have to recall to heal up. And he'd actually be on the map slot. I'm not kidding. That was the correct call, 100% to die there. So just a little bit of a misplay from a Chu face checking there. The strategy Riddle were actually going for was really smart. So because you have a dash from Rakan and from Gwen level 1, what they were going to do is they were going to have them go over the wall and loop round. So anyone defending the blue buff would get flanked and shut down. So really creative level 1. Didn't pan out that way because Resolve was stacking in the brush, but they still ended up getting something from it, so they can't really complain.
Yeah, exactly. First blood into a Dark Steel for MC. This is our second Gwen jungle today, actually. We have 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, the champion's broken in any role. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if team pick a Gwen. They're like, where should we put it? Does it matter? Kubi, yeah, this is not a fun lane. Ezreal Karma is one of the best level 1s in the game. Just because of this constant harass and poke. And it puts you in a comfortable position because Rakan doesn't really have the level 1 threat to do much. Sivir can't really do much. He's very short range. So not a fun bot lane matchup. And this is where Resolve really have an advantage and can look to sort of play around because that bot lane advantage they have. Obviously, in the mid lane, Chimera already putting a lot of harass down. So pretty good start. Allows Soft a big window to play around. But I'll kind of dive back into my level 1 point I was making. I am concerned for Resolve if they fell behind. Because if they have to push into, like, contest Dragon or Baron, it's very easy for Riddle to set up flanks. And this comp kind of fails when it gets flanked. Because Ezreal can't really arcane shift anywhere if he's being collapsed on. Chimera can block one side off, but not the other. So I think using this priority they have in the bot lane, and obviously Chimera in the mid lane, Soft needs to find a bit of an advantage and be able to give themselves an early lead.
Yeah, he's looking to jump in onto slow Q. The wall's been placed down. They've got the snare. Not going to quite hit it, but Soft comes in for a bonus bunch of damage. Jumps back into safety and into a bit of danger, but Soft gets a nice chunk onto slow Q, and this means Chimera can go for a cheater recall if he wants, or can just come help his jungler with the crab. Looks like he's going to go for the recall.
Yeah, very hard to kill set there just because, you know, it's set and he has that massive shield. Soft losing health doesn't really matter. He's already pretty much healed up, has the red buff as well. But essentially gave that window. Chimera able to back, get the Dark Steel and a refillable. So just keeping your lanes comfortable. But Caleb often put on the weak side on this team, often not given as much attention, but has performed pretty well regardless. And is actually going to reset there and get some more mana. MC not really in a position to dive him.
It's such an oppressive bot lane. It's so rough. You can see Gooby and PlayStation always just running around, fairly chunked out, and it's down to FGG and a Chu. What happens with this lane, really, for them now? Even with that kill onto a Chu, even with the assist gold, really doesn't matter.
There's not really that much kill pressure at any point, because Rakan typically gets a bit better at 6, because you have that ult engage. But even then, engaging on Ezreal, pretty poor. I think that goes without saying as the arcane shift. But engaging onto Karma, if she mantra W's to get the heal, she actually, we saw that last game from Hatrix, becomes a very hard target to kill, and it's very easy for Resolve to turn it around. And realistically, if you're not all-inning Ezreal Karma, it's just going to harass you down. So this bot lane pretty uncomfortable now. Slowq caught out.
They got the snare. Slowq's got the shield off as Chimera jumps away to safety. Soft flashes forward, looking for that final kill, looking for that final bit of damage as Chimera gets the kill. MC trying to cut through the bird, but you can't give a bird haircut. It has feathers. MC able to survive. I honestly don't know what just came out of my mouth. Don't talk about it.
You know what? For once, Jake, I'll just leave it and move on. Pretty close skirmish there. You can see obviously a lot of value picked up from MC, able to get it back. So pretty powerful and doing a lot of sustained damage. But Slowq, no flash, caught out by that stun on low HP, very quickly eliminated. And even though typically you don't think of Anivia as someone who has a great mid-jungle 2v2, if you land that stun and wall, you can take someone out quickly. And now,
nice little dodge there by FGG, but PlayStation's ignited and Chu will just arcane shift in for the kill. Here comes MC looking to cut his way through a Chu. A Chu got the shielding from FGG, but it ain't going to be enough. MC will secure his second kill of the game.
Yeah, good timing there from MC, but you can kind of see in just the isolated 2v2, they didn't have the damage to kill Karma. FGG threw down that mantra with the W to heal up, and the damage wasn't really there, so only really bailed out by the jungler coming, but it was still a 1-for-1, so I think Resolve can be perfectly happy with that scenario. And again, they're still sort of behind in gold, but I'm liking the pressure that is coming out, but right now Soft has fallen pretty far behind in farm. in return for like trying to make these proactive plays. So either needs to spend a bit more time clearing his jungle or find a bit more success off the back of them.
Yeah, it's pretty rough state for him as far as the gold goes, but you know, his team are doing pretty okay right now. Kalem, obviously, like you're kind of hitting on, is just playing weak side. That's typically the role he plays in this team, and he's pretty okay to do so. Is just catching waves underneath the tower, is slowly falling behind in the old CS department, and now PlayStation and MC have made their way up. And Kalem, he has flash, but I just don't know if he's really got what it takes to be able to survive this onslaught, as PlayStation not got the 6 at least, and Kalem now revealed that he's getting jumped onto, goes for the flash, dodges out the grand entrance, but everybody else just dashes forward, and the Heartbreaker by Kex will secure the kill.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no real way he gets out of that situation. 3-man dive should always be a 1-for-0 in favor of the side of the 3 men, and he does his best, but he's gonna miss a ton of farm on the back of that. Already pretty far behind in CS, as you said. So top side for Resolve looking pretty rough, and as much as they have worked to find their bot side an advantage, really I need to see a sizable lead coming out overall for this team, because the Jace isn't going to be super relevant if he's down in gold. And now you see Gooby potentially in trouble here.
For him. Has got that spell shield, see if they can get it off. As the Kicks in, the execute's there, and FGG will secure the kill. Soft able to jump to safety. Kex teleports into nothing other than a collection of wave. His AD carry is already down.
Yeah, you remember what I was saying, Jake, about the 3v1 dives? There's Exhibit B. It's very difficult to outplay that in this situation, especially as an AD carry. And essentially, Gooby just stepping up too soon. Your support was coming. You could have just waited a bit of time. Once PlayStation's there, the dive potential diminishes massively, with his CC able to buy you some time and potentially at least catch someone out and get them killed. So a little bit of greedy play there from Gooby ends up costing him, and the team's still trading relatively evenly.
This mid wave is going to get harder and harder and harder to deal with. This Chimera with blue buff should just be able to take through the lanes, well, clear through the wave very, very quickly. As MC does pick up the Rift Herald, so this could be a point where they can, you know, get some damage onto this mid lane tower, because if mid lane tower is still standing and Herald doesn't get used here, without killing Chimera, you're not taking mid.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, once you've taken mid tower, that's one of the critical things. You take mid tower, it's much easier to take the side lane towers. Yeah. Once you've done that, you can push your line of vision up, and it becomes more and more difficult for Resolve to contest the middle of the map or the river. Once you've done that, they're going to have to push forward to try and contest things like dragons, like heralds, like barons, and that is when you find those flank opportunities, because as I was talking about before, flanks are very punishing against Resolve.
Yeah, they really are. Cloud Drake's going to go down. Not the most impactful to FGG's comp when you've got an Anivia, a Jason, a Karma, but you know, you'll take it. First dragon on the board, 9 minutes into the game. Next mate Drake will be a mountain. Then after that, we'll be looking at either Inferno or an ocean. So 2 very nice Drakes, either way.
Yeah, I feel like the ocean, probably better for Riddle. Just they have quite a few big bruisers who will benefit from the healing. But, I mean, Inferno's such a broken dragon. That one's good for everyone. Either way, obviously, definitely could be a priority late in the game. For now, though, Riddle a bit more focused on cementing the early leads. Still yet to use Herald, but you see MC and PlayStation in the vicinity of mid, potentially looking for a window. It'd actually be a good window now with Chimera on a reset, but looks like they haven't really spotted that one out.
If you could give a couple extra dragons to the game, what like element and what would they do?
Oh,
so I'd do like a lightning dragon, and like its soul effect is probably like an empowered electrocute.
I would do a frost dragon, and you know how like Infernal, every so often you like deal bonus damage?
Yeah.
With frost, every so often you like slow them.
Oh,
right?
That'd be cool.
Like kind of a little bit like red buff, but not like maybe a little bit stronger, but it's not on every auto. It's like every time you hit a champion, you know, maybe like
abilities as well.
10-second cooldown.
That'd be a really cool one, actually. I like that. Ritail's gonna get summoned, gonna take some plates, and that's kind of all she wrote on that one. Bunch of gold injected.
You know, we were kind of highlighting, we felt like mid lane was the play, and often has been the meta recently where teams will just throw it down mid, get 2 plates, and then the next herald kind of secures that one going down. And I think you're right, Jake. If you ain't getting mid tower off the heralds, probably ain't getting mid tower anytime soon. Chimera pretty much just holding up a fortress there, because, I mean, yeah, that is what he will do.
There it is. He doesn't even have to interact with the wave. I'm just thinking about your dragon, and I feel like the bonus, because you obviously get a bonus stat for just taking the base dragon. Maybe like bonus tenacity on the frost dragon.
I think conceptually, yes. Does it fit? Yes.
Mechanically?
Do I want more tenacity in the game?
No, exactly. Yeah. But I'm trying to think what else could you give them? I guess there could be one that gives like a cull effect where you get 1 extra gold per minion as well. But I don't know what that'd be, like a gold dragon or something.
You reduce the enemy team's tenacity. Now we're talking. Well, they've introduced the concept of negative tenacity, right? Imagine how broken that would be.
Oh, that'd be awful.
Imagine if just like the base dragon just slowed down. Okay, let's amplify. Let's make it broken. The base dragons just slow down the enemy team. They reduce movement speed. And then the soul, whenever you auto, you have a chance not even just to slow them, to like root them or stun them. That would be bonkers.
Oh, that would be horrible. Yeah, that's just broken.
That's what they would do. That's what they would introduce. You know that as well, don't you, Jake? That's what they'd bring into the game, right? I come in with an innocent frost dragon idea, and they would make it something evil.
Oh, MC. Actually, Needleworks onto Kalim. Kalim should be able to escape this one as he resets the Needlework, but won't find the kill.
What did you say the lightning one was again? Like, what would be the normal effect, and what would be the
like a lightning dragon?
Effect?
So, like, I don't.
Yeah.
The soul effect would be like an empowered electrocute,
like static shiv.
Yeah, kind of like a static shiv. But like a really empowered one, so it's not awful.
Yeah.
As a soul,
maybe.
I couldn't think like maybe it's like an attack speed steroid would be its like thing. Is by the way, MC's just dead, and Caitlin's gonna find the shutdown.
Yeah.
Too busy talking about our imaginary dragons.
I mean, I feel like that pick was so quick. We don't even have to stop the conversation, Jake.
I'm actually very happy with my Thunder Dragon because I feel like attack speed and the static shift thing is actually a really cool little effect on it.
Only thing is the static shift thing is a little bit similar to Infernal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, there's something wrong with that, but, you know.
But because it travels down a wave, doesn't it? Instead of just being a small localized AoE.
Yeah, but it's still like extra damage on the hit, right?
Yes. Yeah, true.
I'm not saying it's bad, but
because it's in Nexus Splits. It's one of like the effects on Nexus Splits, basically.
Yeah. Oh, you just copy a Nexus Split.
I kind of did, but I mean, like, think how cool the Electro terrain would be. Like a Frost Dragon terrain would be awesome as well.
Yeah. Like
actually, what would be the rift things? What would be the rift effects on a Frost Dragon? Oh, you move quick on the river because it's ice and you slide down it.
Yeah, you can't stop walking. Once you click that direction, you...
It's like a Pokemon gym.
Oh, yeah. You click in the river accidentally and you slide all the other end. That'd be a banger. All right, so I'm sold, Jake. We've got it.
Let's pitch
it a riot.
Into Dragon, you'd have to angle yourself going into the pit. Otherwise, you're just going to slide past it. Anyway, speaking of dragons, Mountain Drake's getting started up by Resolve. Chimera puts up a wall. He puts forward a Frosty Ball, and that is going to be Dragon number 2 over to Resolve. We are looking at an Ocean Soul in this game. A bit more sustained to whichever team can pick that one up.
I mean, on the one hand, this kind of makes it very difficult for Resolve to go out of mana. Obviously, you do get that little bit of mana regen on the back of it, so Resolve pretty comfortable if they get that one, but I feel like, again, more value for Riddle. You're dealing with poke. That sustain would be great. You've got bruisers on your team, but still a while away right now. Resolve trying to look for a punish, but I don't think Slowq ever dies here.
No, I think he's pretty hard to kill, even with a Chew now having that Divine Thunderer. He's done a fair amount of damage, but it's so hard to kill him. And I think mid lane is now just going to be Wave Clear Central. Chimera and Gooby in there. Sivir and Anivia, 2 of the best champions when it comes to just AFK clearing waves.
Pretty much. And I feel like, we talked a little bit how Resolve needed that advantage. And I think so far they've kind of played to their conditions. It's been pretty solid. But the game's relatively even overall. Obviously, there is a gold advantage for Riddle. But I feel like in terms of pressure, Resolve have been fine. It's kind of just that jungle matchup where MC's pretty substantially ahead. I'd actually like to look at the gold because I feel like it will just be, I mean, it's 1,600 between junglers. That's a vast portion of the gold lead. Although actually in the top lane as well, there's a 2,000 gold lead. So it's really kind of Riddle's top lane are ahead, and then it's sort of the rest of the map are in favor of Resolve. And it's like, you've got that advantage, but I need to see them kind of make use of it.
Yeah, that 2,000 gold lead is pretty substantial. Massive CS lead, 1-0-1 as well onto Kex. So, Kex is capable of doing some pretty big work. We've seen what Viego is capable of doing. Once he starts resetting in a fight, it's so busted, dude. He goes, you can't do anything to him, and he heals at the end of it as well. It's so... If I start ranting about Viego, I'm not going to stop.
I also think, you have okay choices. I feel like Lee Sin's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nivea's kind of garbage. Steel, maybe. I mean, you actually get a stun and a wall.
Yeah.
Throw a wall down, jump straight out. Ezreal's pretty good. I feel like Ezreal's one of the better ones because his ult's not really that important. For his general play pattern. Karma kind of. I think Karma's okay. But,
if you can steal it and shield someone, then it can be useful, I guess.
I mean, it's still useful, of course, but it's how much value? But I mean, Kex is kind of really bullying Caleb in this matchup now.
Although FGG's coming in, can he find the shield in time? Yes, he flashes over the wall. Kex is kicked back, and Caleb finds the kill. Didn't need to bring up two friends, but Caleb still gets it.
And I said he's dead. I was talking about Kex and definitely not talking about Caleb there. Kex pretty close, but the punish comes in from Resolve, and they're finally giving a little bit of attention to the top lane. And I feel like, why not? Because it's not like Riddle are doing anything mid lane or can. And Achu is pretty safe in the bot side of the map. Now, be able to apply some pressure to this tower, but not really going to be able to get anything off the back of that. Well, anything else off the back of that other than this tower.
They've got the teleport out from Kex. There's Soft's on the way, and so's FGG. I mean, they don't have the Dragon's Rage, but they have that Red Smite available. In they go. Teleport's going to get forced out, and that's now 2 teleports burnt from Riddle. FGG should be able to get away.
3 teleports, actually. Whole squads here. They committed to defending that, but that's a lot of map-wide pressure kind of negated. And on the other side of the map, Achu takes bot lane tower, and will trade his life for it, I believe.
Here comes MC. Achu trying to kite away from MC, who just flashes the wall, lands the next needlework, gets that slow off, and just continues the chase. Here's PlayStation into the lockup. MC gets his 3rd kill. You were right that time. He did die.
Yeah, I mean, he took the tower, great, but a little bit disrespectful over pushing. You know you don't have the support on that side of the map. And Riddle able to pick up that kill. Things being a little bit back and forth, but 2 minutes till that next dragon, and it kind of comes down to setting up for that. You can see they now have Gooby in the mid lane, who, all in all, in terms of people contesting Anivia for priority, he does a pretty good job, but it's kind of just both of them eliminating the waves before anyone can really do something. So, missed time there, actually.
Yeah, gets a quick speed up. A lot of damage coming out from Chimera, but his full combo's kind of down at this point. Yeah, Riddle going to trade out for the bot lane tower. Obviously, Achu was able to take that earlier. It's 1 tower apiece at the moment, but once that tower in the bot lane goes down, we'll inject a bit more gold into the side of Riddle, who, for the moment, are up in gold. Only a small amount, though.
It's actually very hard to spell shield Anivia Q, because you know how it passes through you and then they activate the stun? The pass-through will, proc your shield, so you can easily do what Scooby did there, where you spell shield, you block the pass-through, and then you still get hit by the stun. So one of the reasons is actually, last time Chimera played Anivia, he was also against the Sivir. Short-range carry, where the spell shield doesn't work well against Chimera's biggest ability you don't want to get hit by, kind of puts you in a comfortable spot, which we've seen a little bit so far. Now, both teams posturing, and actually, because Chimera reset, this is a window for Riddle to get priority and move into that river and try and get control. Again, Resolve are great at setting up like a fortress and just making it really hard to move through. Not as good at sort of moving into terrain they don't already control. It allows the other team to flank. But that Herald was, that was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the Herald just doesn't offer anything, unfortunately, for the side of Riddle. And they have to now be very careful, because we've got Jason Ezreal. There's a lot of poke to deal with, and Resolve are just going to catch this wave very, very high, just to deny Riddle the gold. I think they're okay giving up the dragon. They've already picked up the first 2, and cracking mid-tier 1 opens up the map massively for them. So a trade of dragon for tower, and they may actually look for a little bit more here, as Chimera can just kind of stop anyone from getting close with this wall. It's so punishing.
Ooh,
and now Chimera jumped onto, looks to flash over the wall. Slowku jumps in, the slam comes down into the knockup. Bunch more damage coming out from NC, who's got that needlework going down, and Kex jumps in. Chimera has to go golden in the middle of everyone, but he's going to lose his life, and the spawns are getting stolen. Kex coming in with a Heartbreaker, finding himself a double kill for Gooby, and the full ace for the side of Riddle.
Yeah, and I mean, Resolve opted not to push into the Dragon area because they have a difficulty sort of moving into areas they don't control, but they push too far, and you got to respect the engage coming out from Riddle. It's really easy for them just to drive through onto you. And the thing is, we saw that wall that blocked away Riddle. That could have been clutch when it came down to defending themselves in that choke point. Ultimately, Riddle capitalized, and they get a massive reward for it.
Yeah, I mean, we just look at the fight again. It was a good start with the fact they had the wall, they had the...
It's just so greedy because you need to back off. You're trying to creep for the tower. The engage comes in. Chimera has to flash. And then there's this big dunk. And they don't really get a chance to set up again. The wall would have had a ton of value here. But Riddle have these skirmishes. You just keep pushing forwards. And Resolve wasted so much mobility just getting into that choke point. They didn't have any to get out again. So just really good window capitalized on by Riddle. But Resolve really disrespectful. You know, you can push the wave to the second tower, but overstaying for it, so greedy. And they are now 4,000 gold down and the Baron in favor of Riddle. And this Resolve competition is definitely going to do a good job of defending against the Baron, but it is not good for them to be behind in gold.
No, it's not at all. Now, we'll see if they can hold this tower. The Glacial Storm obviously going to be doing less damage thanks to the Baron, kind of giving the extra magic resist, but Chimera is able to slowly but surely work through it, so Riddle may need to commit a little bit more if they want to be able to take down this tower, because it is going to be a slow fight, battle of attrition, basically.
The thing is, you can see they've established a vision in this blue side, in this blue jungle over here. A lot of control, which allow PlayStation MC to move through. So because they're in the fog of war, they can threaten like this. And Chimera,
they're coming in. They've got Chimera locked down. He doesn't have eggs, so he is down. And MC is ripping through with the needlework. Gets kicked back by Soft, but Soft chased down, and it's a heartbreak from Kex into a double kill as he finds the kick onto a tube and chases for a little bit more underneath the tower. Kex is going to eat that powered shot blast, and the tube will finish up the kill. Tier 1 tower in a 3-for-1 trade as well. Riddle really pushing ahead with the gold now.
And you see the power of these flanks. As soon as Chimera gets TC'd, his ultimate gets cancelled. He can't really do anything to protect himself. He's good at controlling the wave here, but the flank, the wall isn't enough to interrupt the dash. The CC carries on to FGG and onto Soft, and then Kex able to clean up. Does obviously overstep a little bit on the back end, but really Riddle just very crisp with the execution, knew exactly what the game plan is. Kex actually pushed that bot wave in prior to this. It forced a Chew to respond to it. And then a Chew really can't walk through the jungle in a dangerous path because obviously it's very much controlled by Riddle. And they use that vision control to just transfer through into mid lane.
Well, 23 minutes on the clock now, and Riddle, 5,000 gold lead for them. 5,200 gold lead, in particular. Gale Force, Essence Reaver onto Gooby. He's got that last Whisper as well, so starting to find his stride here on the Sivir. Obviously a champion that needs a lot of gold, a lot of time to become strong, but when you do become strong, the damage is big. But Chew already hitting pretty hard himself. If the True Shot Barrage is there, PlayStation jumps in with a charm, only onto Soft, as Chimera's going to come in with a slow, just to zone them away.
Can I see how strong a Chew is, though? I mean, just able to dash up into Gooby's face and nearly solo him out of that ult hit. Ezreal definitely spiking hard, but you can see Riddle playing this pretty intelligently. Kex super strong on the side lane, and if they just lean him up to apply that pressure, you know, Resolve love to group around Chimera. The Karma gets a lot of value when people are grouped. Chimera can obviously be that sort of zone control, and the rest of the team can protect him. But if Riddle keeps splitting things up, it gives them opportunities like this to clap.
Oh, they found Slowkey, but Slowkey's found Chimera. It slams him back. MC's making his way in. Egg is going to get forced, and the Chew has to jump over the wall. This is going to be the end of Chimera as MC's able to take him down. PlayStation comes in, teleport onto Soft. Soft heals up with the Gore Drinker for now, but they are continuing this chase as Kex dashing forward. Not going to be able to find himself to stun onto a Chew. And Resolve able to back away as the True Shot Barrage does a lot of damage to PlayStation.
And the thing is, they killed the Anivia, but really Resolve can't function without that, so they will just move with the dragon, not pushing any towers now. They're able to pick up 2 of those, and again, I feel like there's so much more value for this Ocean Soul on Riddle than there is on the side of Resolve. A lot of the poke from the Ezreal and the Jace kind of gets a bit nullified once they start to, if they get to that soul point. And obviously able to just keep those bruisers alive. But yeah, really good sort of like using that silent that application, and then slow Q roams to sort of meet and catch his Chimera. Kind of isolated and really far pushed up. You don't have a tower to protect you here. Although Resolve can disengage off this fight, as soon as they lose Chimera, it's kind of like that stalwart blockade they have to stop the pressure from the other team falls apart quite a bit.
Chimera now, you know, been sitting on those 2 items for a little while. Hasn't really been able to kind of safely farm, and Slowq now catching up in that CS area. And that kind of shows you how much Riddle have been able to do in the recent couple of moments in this game. Kind of last 5 minutes or so. Chimera now getting chased out by MC. Teleports are coming in, and I think Chimera probably just going to be accepting his fate here as MC dashes forward. He does find the stun. Has a fair amount of damage. The Glacial Storm going to about half health him, but there's only so far he can go. Oh, Chimera! Beautiful little assassination. He will lose his life to Gooby, but that was disgusting amounts of damage as Caleb is looking to jump in onto Kex, but Teleport coming in for the backup, and now Kex, the Spectral Maw, might be able to find himself a quick stun onto Chu or Caleb.
I think they're pretty safe there, but yeah, I mean, you have to respect the Anivia damage. That burst is pretty nuts, and there isn't really any magic resist on MC, so just stepped up a bit too far. Obviously traded all those Magi stacks in as well. But they do end up getting the Anivia down, and Chimera kind of just being caught out consistently for the past few minutes, just overstepping again and again, and not really doesn't really have a comfortable place to stay on the map. I think you kind of see where Resolve is positioned, and it's very much around that sort of river line, and it feels like they don't want to give up that territory because it becomes hard to contest afterwards, but they are also not safe to be there, you know, and it keeps allowing these windows for Riddle to step up and sort of muscle in and find these flank angles, find these approaches.
And it feels like, you know, since Resolve used the shove they had mid lane to trade a dragon for those 2 towers, they haven't been able to do anything since because they lost that ensuing team fight. And now PlayStation's got a really nice flank onto the grouped up members of Resolve coming in as Achu has to shift away. The Glacial Storm's going to slow everybody down. Can't quite find the knock-up, and Achu collapses in on the kill. A great wall means Kex is going to be slowed down and taken out as he is shut down by Achu. Resolve just find himself 2 kills.
That was so flawless from stuff, honestly. I saw that scenario and I'm like, this is ideal for Riddle. They have the flank angle, Resolve are pushed up. If they get the CC down, this is great. But stop kicking away the Rakan before he even gets a chance to charm anyone. Allow them to back off, retreat, force Riddle into that choke point, and then start to turn it around. And this is going to secure them that Baron. Things looking pretty dire, but Resolve answer back. And yeah, we can see the replay. So perfect kick to stop the charm, and then they end up funneling into this choke. Very difficult to fight, especially with the lack of vision in that brush. The wall goes down, and Kex has no way of getting over, so he just gets dispatched. And it felt like a little bit, I mean, honestly, just an outplay from Resolve, but also the team wasn't quite there to follow up on PlayStation quick enough, and that's the difference. If the set uses his ult, there's no stopping that. But PlayStation, you can interrupt him as he's dashing forwards and stop that engage.
Really nice play there, and it was absolutely necessary for Resolve. This game was slowly but surely slipping away from them now. Achu has his frozen heart, so he is starting to hurt quite a lot. I believe Chimera finished up his Void Staff as well, so he's now on the 3 items himself, and you know, the wave clear's never been a problem for him, but he is doing a significant amount of damage.
And honestly, Resolve have some pretty strong scaling in the composition. At this point, Ezreal's really strong, and Nivea's really strong. And if Riddle don't approach these fights well,
Achu flashed in, has seized the stopwatch. Chu, I think you got a little bit handsy there, mate. You're going to get chased down, and Slowq will give him a haymaker. Get off my ADC.
Yeah, I mean, Frozen Heart, not going to spot the true damage. A bit of an overstep from Achu, getting a bit hypey on that one. And now Riddle going to contest that mid wave, push it in, and then they can rotate into the dragon area. Securing this third one pretty big, and Soul is becoming a win condition for them. Obviously, a very late Soul with them giving over those first 2 dragons. But with this next one, they would only be 5 minutes away. They can take that 4th.
And it doesn't even look like Resolve are even going to bother contesting now. I
don't think you can.
No, I don't think you can at all. Dragon's still going to get soloed by Gooby. And it has to be the next one now for Resolve. It does mean their hand is a little bit forced, because Ocean Soul is going to be a real nuisance. You can see that they are getting a couple of these Grievous Wounds, these anti-heal items in their inventories now. You've got the Executioners and FGG with the Oblivion Orb.
Yeah, honestly, Chem-Tech Putrefier is just so insane. You literally only need that on Karma, and it kind of provides for the whole team. But obviously, no complaints to Chu having it as well. There's still a decent amount of sustain on this team, even before they get Ocean Soul. Really, everyone has some healing in their items or in their kit, so definitely has some value there. Right now, things slow down a bit. Both teams kind of looking to posture, and I think the big thing I want to focus on is for the next objective, whether it's Dragon or Baron, is Resolve want to kind of have control. They want the flank wards cleared out, whereas Riddle, they really want Resolve to have to push in. They want to be able to find these angles where PlayStation comes from behind or slow Q. They get the engage off, particularly if they can force Resolve into the river. Because we saw in the jungle and the choke points, it's a little bit trickier to handle. But once you're in the river and in the more open area, it's very favored towards Riddle.
Got a while until we're going to see this Ocean Drake upset. It feels like we might see a little bit of a lull in the action. Very different game from our game 3 of the day, which was chaos in a game.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of kills. It just kind of feels like teams are either they're setting up windows or they're sort of playing around the objectives, whereas the last game was kind of just like raw aggression throughout. But you see Resolve kind of early trying to set up that vision control, which, you know, I got a favor of them for. You want to set that up early, establish control. It was a lot easier to maintain after that, rather than making a mad dash just as the objective spawns. But Riddle can kind of just move to the other side and look to get control of the Baron area. And obviously, I mean, Sivir just does Sivir things.
Yeah, Sivir just able to make quick work of these waves. But it's the same thing with Chimera as well. So both teams kind of going to be pretty reliant on Baron to actually be able to shove into any deeper towers or a really good team fight. Because, you know, without Baron, without someone being dead, Chimera and Gooby can just be their team's wave clear. They can make very, very short work of these
and it's kind of when both teams have one of these heavy wave clears. It's why you see the game slow down, because very realistically, no one can take a tower easily. Like the tier 2s are quite hard to finish, especially the inhibitor towers. So until there's a reason to force a team to come out onto the map, it kind of just ends up like this, you know, bit of a back and forth. Kind of takes stock of the items, 3.5 on both AD carries. Gooby is hunting for that Infinity Edge before the next fight. You can see on the other side, Chu actually sold the Executioner's Calling, because obviously the Chem-Tech Putrefier from FGG comes in, provides that Grievous for essentially the whole team. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we are starting to hit that sort of later game stage. We are getting those big item power spikes, and there's a lot more emphasis on the AD carries. Levels as well, across the board. Everyone with the support's kind of 16 plus. Gooby just hitting level 18 there. And the thing is, at this point, with the long death timers, the objective isn't necessarily the primary thing, you know? If you lose Ocean Soul, it sucks for Resolve, but at least you can fight another day. If you lose a fight by enough of a margin, that just could be the game with these death timers and the sheer amount of damage everyone's doing to turrets.
Chu's almost finished up his grudge. You can see KLM's got his. There's a fair amount of slowing now from Resolve when you've got to factor in the bird as well, as Kex is getting hunted. Has the Heartbreaker over the wall to escape. That's now going to be on cooldown, although he is level 18, so, you know, maxed out all his abilities. The cooldown's fairly short right now for him, especially with the Divine Sunderer and the Spirit Sassage giving him a bit of extra ability haste.
I think so. Resolve has established a bit of vision in the Dragon area, in the Baron area, sorry, but it's kind of sacrificed all that Dragon vision. It feels like they might be toying with the idea of trading. I actually think you'd win out on the soul in that case, because obviously the Baron is going to wear off. And the gold from the Baron isn't worth as much as it was, you know, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh, that was just a flat Q from Chu onto Gooby. Taking a good quarter of his health.
Like, historically, Ezreal's fallen off quite hard in the late game, especially compared to creative carries. But with this build, just with how powerful ability haste and the fact is it has no cap, he kind of doesn't fall off nearly as hard as he used to. It still remains relevant. So
they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, 13 seconds on Dragon. They could have, like, burned through this Baron before the Dragons even spawned. And I think Riddle
my
might just be
lord.
taking the trade.
It's melting. They're not going to be able to get into Baron in time to contest it, but there's no way Riddle can contest either. Resolve, they have the buff now, but once that Baron buff wears out, this trade has gone very badly for them, so they need to be very proactive with this. I will give them the power strength for this next, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. After that, it's all Riddle.
Yeah, and then Riddle going to push the waves up. Obviously, they got a ton of wave clear with the Sivir. Just going to take that turret down, back away, reset, and again, Ocean Soul is for the rest of the game. At the pace of this one, that might actually be for a while. And it really comes down to, can Resolve actually achieve something with the Baron? And I'm not sure they really can, because yes, they're really good at clearing waves, but I don't think they can step up to hit a tower that easily if Riddle are there, because there is that threat of a flank, the threat of an engage. So for now, all Riddle have to do is be patient, and they will win out in terms of power in the long run.
It does look like they're trying to choke out on multiple waves here. The 1-3-1 or the 2-2-1 at the moment has been set up. FGG's also making his way over, and they've really not got their waves set up, so Riddle kind of pretty free to move between these lanes right now, because there's no threat on that tier 3 in the mid wave because the Chu didn't have the wave in the right spot. Caitlyn probably should be able to take the tier 2 in the bot side, but it looks like he's actually not even interested in doing that. He wants to rejoin his team. And they've now got 1 minute 40 left on this Baron. They got to use it.
Yeah, I mean, they're being so cautious because they're so scared of the engage potential. They're really tentative with moving up. They're aware of the flanks. You can see they have the wave, they push it up, but instead of pushing with it, they move through the jungle to try and make sure they're not going to get flanked in the situation. They might have found Hex, though.
Hex. Pops the Heartbreaker, just gets a bunch of damage out of him.
Yeah, but they do have that wave stacked up, so they should be able to get a tower. Oh, engage coming in. That's full of speed.
They're looking for Caleb. Caleb flashes away. He's been caught. He's been charmed. He's been locked down, and he's down as Gooby, able to get the kill. Meanwhile, Resolve using this opportunity to take that tier 2 in the top side. Question is can they get more? They're going to do a serious amount of damage to that tower, and the inhibitor should be next up. The teleport's coming in, and Gooby has rejoined his team. Teleport coming on the flank from the Slowq. He's making his way up. MC looking for the opening. Glacial Fish is going to slow him down for the moment as they place the wall. The slam's there. Stop looks for the kick. Only collapses onto one, and Chimera going low. He's resurrecting. He's down. PlayStation's able to secure that one for the team, as the rest of Riddle are chasing Resolve down. The Heartbreaker forward, the slow from FGG as it choose trying to find the space. MC eats a Q. They get the inhibitor, but they lose 2 members, and that is the last they can do with that Baron.
Yeah, really solid engage coming in from Slowq, but even so, the safety, the mobility of Soft, Achu, and FGG is just a bit too much for them to catch. They still managed to win out overall. And I mean, you saw the speed of Gooby and PlayStation with that engage. This is why Resolve have been so tentative with moving forward. This is why they've been so cautious, because you're alone for like a split second and you're getting engaged on. Like the speed of the ult from the Sivir with the Shurelias, with the Gale Force. It's scary.
It's been a while since I've seen an Ezreal build get this far where he gets the Tiamat. Actually helps quite a lot with the wave clear. Typically something Ezreal's always struggled with, but now you have AoE Qs.
And I mean, the reason this build is so insane and so good late game is because every item has ability haste. You know, like the boots have got 15, you got 20 in the Frozen Heart, 20 in the Grudge, 20 in the Sundra. Pretty sure it's 15 on the Muramana and 20 on the Hydra, sorry. And by the time you get all these items, you're getting to like, so in the equivalent for old CDR, it's like 56%, which obviously Ezreal never used to be able to hit because the cap was 45 with the rune. So his cooldowns are so low, and his Q is a 1.5 second cooldown. So it becomes like Earth. You Q, it's back up. You Q, it's back up. You Q, it's like, so you can just essentially spam it for insane DPS. And that's why it just ends up scaling so well. Plus the fact you're so bulky.
Nice little true shot just to clip onto a couple of members. They have to deal with this top wave though, as Kex has just got a complete push up there. He does obviously have supers working for him. Chimera's going to take this opportunity just to catch this mid wave and try and shove in here, but the collapse is coming in as Gooby's got the flank onto a Chu, Slowq as well, and Kex is still untouched, still dealing with this top wave, but FGG's been able to reset and make his way into the base, and Chu should be able to catch this top side wave.
These teams are just like running around each other, like killing the waves, but not interacting with each other. But essentially, they both end up resetting. 5k gold lead at this point for Riddle. It's not too impactful at this point in the game, really, the gold lead. It kind of loses a bit of relevance this late. But the Ocean Soul, obviously a big factor for Riddle. But we have Elder Dragon at minute 15, Baron at minute 10. So these teams need to decide which they prioritize more. Often we see it being the Elder, but again, with a lot of wave clear, with a Baron buff and a lot of wave clear, both teams could probably defend against an Elder. So might end up seeing this like full-on 5v5 for a while to establish this.
Oh, they're looking for the turnaround, and Chu's trying to get caught out. They put the wall up. PlayStation gets the charm, and that's the end of a Chu. Gooby secures the kill. SGG next up, and that's a double kill. Picked up, the slam is there. The resurrection's coming in. It's a triple kill onto Gooby as he's looking for soft. Kicks takes that one. Chimera goes down, a quadra kill. Picked up by Gooby. They don't need Elder. They don't need Baron. They just need one good team fight. Riddle will take open the base, and with the long death timers, Resolve, this game is done for them.
Yeah, and I mean, bad guy Kex stealing the Penta, but Gooby super aggressive there, flashing in to secure the kill onto a Chu. And this is the kind of the problem. Resolve, they have to push forward to contest space. It allows these engages to come in, and at this point, the Sivir was just so strong. The Ezreal, no time really to breathe against this engage, and it was a slow game. And it's like in an instant, it was over. But credit to Riddle for sort of not over pushing things, waiting for the windows, understanding both teams had a lot of stalling, and then they found that one. You saw Resolve, they were like, okay, we need to get out on the map, contest these objectives, and that engage from the Rakan Sivir just so powerful.
Yeah, it was, you know, it was a slow game because we had Sivir and we had Anivia on both sides of the team. So constant wave clearing, but time for us to clear this break. So we're going to throw to that. And then when we're back, Scoundrel and everybody else will have a chat with PlayStation about that game. So we'll see you in a moment.